I am up in the north of Scotland at the side of Loch Ness. And did you know that Loch Ness has the title of having the largest body of water in the whole of the UK? There is more water there in Loch Ness than in all of the lakes in England and Wales put together. Now, I did not know that either. Hi, welcome back to my channel. It is me, Ian, here, and I am touring around some of Scotland. I live in Beijing, in China, and after 3.5 years of not being able to travel because of COVID, I've finally got some time to get back to my home country to have a look around and see if there's anything that's changed. I have already published videos on Glasgow, Edinburgh, Loch Lomond and Balloch, and these videos you can find them on my channel, so head there and have a look. This video is a quick jaunt around the Highlands, quite windy here, but it's good weather, it's nice and sunny. My son and I, we left Glasgow yesterday and drove up north past a local well-known stopping place for anyone travelling north on the Inverness A9 road. The stopping place is called the House of Rura, and it has everything Scottish you could ever dream of. It also does a great coffee, and if you're a tourist with an eye for the high life and exquisite taste, then you could pick up something here of high quality, but be prepared, it will cost you because it has a lot of expensive Scottish things on display for sale. The weather in the House of Brewer was excellent when we got there, and you can see that in the video, and I hope you enjoy that, and I'm sharing it now. The further north we did get, the weather started to get cloudy. In Aviemore, which is a small town on the way to Inverness, and it's in the Cairngorms National Park, the weather was decent, but it did start to get cloudy by then. Aviemore has a classic railway station, and I always like to go and have a look at it and see what you think, because I just love it. It's just a quaint, classic Scottish railway station. Aviemore, the town, serves as a stop for everything outdoors: hiking, mountain biking and skiing. And when the skiing season is on during the winter, obviously, it has a fantastic après-ski atmosphere. And the skiing, I'm told, is also good. I'm not a great skier. I've not skied in Aviemore for a very long time, but I'm told skiing in Aviemore is fantastic. So if that's your thing, get yourself to Aviemore for the skiing. After Aviemore, we drove to a small town called Nairn, which had a lovely old creepy hotel that we stopped over at. The rooms were creaky and noisy, but once everything settled down, I managed to get some good sleep. Oh, and it also had Highland coos in the field outside, or as you might know it, Highland cows, which is always a good thing, because then that means you're in Scotland, because you're seeing the old Highland coo. The breakfast in the hotel was also fantastic, and the breakfast was included in the price, and a traditional Scottish breakfast. It was fantastic, and it set us up well for the travelling for today, where we are on our way to Fort William, and we passed down the side of Loch Ness, which you see here, obviously. But I'll get back to that in a minute, because before we left Nairn, I had a quick early morning walk around the town. The weather was not fantastic, it was a bit overcast. Nairn is a small town, it's about 17 miles from Inverness, and it is a fishing port and a market town. I will remember it as a place for lots of churches. There are a lot of churches in the north of Scotland, and in Nairn it's an example of maybe how much money in the old days we did spend on churches. Not my thing, but yeah, way back in the day there was a lot of churches in the north of Scotland, and you will find that out if you do get the chance to travel north. Anyway, we also went on to Inverness, where we stopped for a quick look around before we got on this road to Loch Ness. And well, what can I say about Inverness? The weather didn't help. It had its decent parts. I'm told that there are some great places to eat out, but I think my son described it best when he said it looked like a city that had been designed by a group of drunk people who couldn't agree on one style of architecture, so they decided to have it all, threw it all up, and never had any thought about what looked good next to each other. And I think they made a little bit of a mess of it. When my son said that, I realised then that there was some awful buildings that have been built beside some spectacular old style buildings and castles, including a pretty cool castle which was spoiled by what was built next to it, which was really pretty awful. Let me know what you think when I share some of this video in the comments below. Now I'm going to go on to Loch Ness and the Loch Ness Monster. Well, I'm going to come back to that in a bit. Yeah. So some more interesting facts about Loch Ness and the Loch Ness Monster. Loch Ness contains 263 billion cubic feet of water. How they know, I do not know, but someone has calculated it. It's also pitch black because the water has a lot of black silt from the peat that is washed down from the mountains, so you can't see anything when you're in the loch. The loch never freezes. It remains at about 5 degrees all the year round. It never heats up and it never cools down in temperature. 5 degrees and that's it. The Loch Ness Monster has been sighted hundreds of times throughout history, going back to 565 AD is the earliest recorded sighting by a chap called St Columba, whoever that may be. Many of the sightings have been possibly because the person has had a whiskey or two, or it has been a hoax. It's often a case that has been a hoax. The Loch Ness Monster is often shown as a 2 or even a 3 humped back creature, but it's more likely that it is a water mammal with no humps. That is if you believe that is true or not. I'm Scottish, I believe it's true. One last thing, this isn't Loch Ness, this is Loch Oich, which is another beautiful Scottish loch. And did you know that there are 31,000 lochs or more in Scotland? I did not know that either. Anyway, next stop, Fort William. Morning, we made it to Fort William last night after a leisurely drive down the side of Loch Ness from Inverness. It was a nice peaceful drive, lovely weather, and some of that stuff I've shared with you already. But up there in Fort William is Ben Nevis, which is the UK's highest mountain, standing at 1,345 metres. I sound very knowledgeable, don't I? Anyway, we're in Fort William. We're going to dash around, look at a few things, share it with you. Then we're going to go to Oban. So enjoy Fort William, then come with us to Oban. Be a quick visit in Oban. Stick with me and I will share. That is Fort William, where Ben Nevis, the highest peak, is located. As I said, look at the amount of churches that we have in the north of Scotland. Churches everywhere. Way back in the day we wasted their money. Anyway, we're going to head off to Oban. Join me and I will show you Oban. This is me in Oban. But before I share Oban with you, have a look at Glencoe, because we went to Glencoe, had a look around, flew the drone, and then we came to Oban. So have a look at Glencoe. This is Glencoe, and look at the size of it. It's intimidating but beautiful. I love it. Glencoe is just a stunning place to see, amazing scenery, and if you do get a chance to come to Scotland, then I do recommend a visit to Glencoe. Just to even drive through it, it's amazing. Right now I'm sitting in the setting sun here on the beach, Cobley Beach in Oban, after another good day just wandering around Oban. I'll share a little bit of that with you and then I'll come back to you in a second.
That is so sweet.
Welcome back. So I think you will agree that Scotland is a fantastic place to travel around, and certainly if you wanted to live here, I would recommend it, even though I live in Beijing. I'm finishing off my day watching the sunset here in Oban, but as always, wishing you well. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your community, and I will catch you in the next video. And as always, peace out.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.